The 9th episode of the Stephie Smalls Show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up at Underdog Fantasy, promo code SMALLS, 2 L's, to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits. We're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Get up to $750 in cash back rewards each month when you sign up at edgeboost.bet and use the promo code SGPN.
Are you ready?
Hello. Happy Monday. Welcome back to the Stephie Smalls Show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Closing in on 2K subscribers. So hit the subscribe button, like this video. Fun, laid-back Monday episode on the show. First up, Scott Reichel joins me to preview the Final Four, some best bets, chat some NBA futures with the playoffs approaching. And then segment 2, it is producer Ryan's birthday. So he's going to join me to do some NFL win totals, answer questions that you gave on Twitter, and yap a little bit with me. So first up, first-time guest on the show, host of Scott Selections, part of the SGPN family on NBA and tennis podcast. Scott Reichel, how's it going?
They're doing pretty well. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So the big thing right now, all over Twitter, word of the day is Torpedo. Torpedo bats is all people want to talk about on Twitter. Thoughts about the Torpedo bats?
As a Yankees fan, I'm a big fan.
Yeah,
I got no complaints. They're 3-0. It's definitely nice to see your team hit 9 home runs in one game. I understand why fans are kind of up in arms about it, mainly because, one, it is the Yankees, and they tend to be a pretty polarizing team. On the other hand, it's also nice to kind of see people talking about baseball. There's kind of an expression that bad press, technically, is still good press in theory. And the fact that people are talking about baseball kind of tells you that it's already on people's minds. Do I think it's illegal? No, because if it was, they would have stepped in and stopped it by now. So I'm okay with it. Doesn't bother me. Other teams are using it. I think one team that's really bothered by it's the Red Sox. And I think the main reason why is because, one, the Yankees are the arch rival. 2 is if they increase the size of the barrel and the label by 3 times what it was, maybe Rafael Devers would get a hit. Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe. But I feel like as a Yankees fan, I'm fine with it. But even as an unbiased fan, it's not illegal by my understanding. So I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Right. And I'm a Yankees fan too. So also, people just want to hate the Yankees, right? So there is a level to this where it has to do with it is the Yankees. But my understanding is that there are players outside of the Yankees that are using this bat.
Yeah. Well, for example, the Mets have Lindor, who is also using it, and he went 0 for 11. So he didn't get a hit. I know Jeffers was using it for the Twins. That didn't work out. I mean, it's definitely going to be always kind of an immediate reaction when you see something different. And it immediately results in a positive gain for one team. And then you start wondering, well, this clearly isn't right. The results definitely suggest that there's some foul play in mind.
Yeah.
There isn't. I feel like MLB looked it over. They approved it. It was fine. You see other teams copying the strategy the Yankees are using. I guess my question is why it took so long. I mean, in theory, based on principle, if you're going to increase the amount of wood towards areas around the barrel of the bat, that kind of sounds like common sense to me. So I feel like better late than never, but it's worked for the Yankees, and now other players and other teams are copying it. Do I think it'll be around for a long time? No, but I think that for the sake of the rest of the season, it seems like it's not illegal, so I don't see why it's that big of an issue.
Right. And it kind of reminds me of the tush push too. It's just every team can do it. So if you want to do it, just do it. You don't need to complain about it either.
Yeah, and teams are complaining in the NFL. That was kind of the comp that I was going to make too, because it's definitely popular now. You see teams that are kind of voting on banning it. Some coaches are speaking out saying it's not their fault, they're good at it. Every team can run a QB sneak. The point is one team found basically the best way to actually run it, and the QB sneak's been around since football started. And now people are going, this is unfair. We can't compete with this. When you could also try to do the exact same thing they're doing. Exactly. So I like the bats personally, but I'm also potentially biased as a Yankees fan. Then again, Milwaukee gave up 11 runs today at home to Kansas City. So maybe the Brewers also aren't that good. Is that a hot take? Can I throw that out there?
Right, 100%. There's always 2 sides to it here. I'm kind of a baseball casual, not really kind of. I joined a fantasy a fantasy league. I just kind of watch. I basically bet on it. I place bets and then I don't watch games is what ends up happening. I have been betting on Devers. What's going on with him? Are we like striking out 15 times in 5 games? Like, what is happening?
Yeah, as the official designated hitter, and he's not hitting. That's kind of the problem here. I feel like at the end of the day, you always get some players who start off in some type of slumps. I mean, sometimes you have slow starters, but I can't even use that as an excuse because he's not even close. I feel like you can maybe, if you want to tie it, get full conspiracy theory mode here. The fact is they bring in Bregman to play third base, and then he was very adamant about wanting to play that position, and they threw him aside and said, you're DHing. So if you want to get full conspiracy theory here, maybe it's like a quiet protest, I guess. But I don't know. Sometimes you're just not seeing the ball. I feel you can make an argument that maybe he is trying to make a statement to some degree. Maybe he just stinks right now, and he'll figure it out. It's a long season. You have 162 games. You're going to have some slumps along the way. I mean, this is egregious, going 0 for 19 with 15 strikeouts. I could probably do that. I mean, even though you said you don't really follow baseball that much, you have the same amount of hits as Rafael Devers. How does that make you feel?
It feels pretty good, huh? It's not too bad. Not too shabby.
Like, definitely does not look good out there, but I'm not going to hit the full panic button. We're only 5 basically. But it is alarming when you include the contract and all the offseason drama that was associated with bringing a guy in who's basically stealing his position.
Yeah. And at some point, it's just like, are you like, it's like your job, like hit the ball.
Yeah, exactly. You're making a lot of money to do that.
Right, exactly. That's your job. Like, hit the ball. I don't know what to say. Figure it out.
I mean, I cannot say that I've picked up a baseball bat in a long time, but 0 for 19, 15 strikeouts, I might be able to look somewhere similar to that, you know?
Absolutely. All right, let's talk Final Four. A lot of whining about how the tournament played out. No, you're getting the 4 best teams in the country, according to Ken Palm. People are upset that they didn't get all their Cinderellas and their upsets. A lot of times these teams don't make it very far regardless. Thoughts on the complaining and the way the Final Four played out?
Well, I'm going to ask you, are you complaining or are you happy about it? And how much of your answer depends on your actual bracket?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people, you know, they picked 1 seeds to go all the way. So it's very easy for them to be excited. But then everyone else wants an upset. They have St. John's or one of these teams that went really far, and it's not as exciting for them.
I feel like it's always kind of a trade-off in the NCAA tournament because on one hand, you do love to see the Cinderella stories. For example, you have like the St. Peter's teams. If you want to go way back and go like George Mason. But the problem that you run into is that eventually most of these Cinderella teams, after winning a game or two, they get their asses kicked. By a wide margin. And you get a really bad game late in the tournament. For example, St. Peter's. They upset Kentucky. They beat Purdue. And then how'd that go? They got to the Elite Eight. North Carolina was up 30 points in the first half. Like, the game was over immediately, and you kind of wished you had a better team in the later rounds. So, yes, I understand that people want kind of a blend. You want some upsets with, I'd say, mostly good teams at the very end, so you do get great games. But I feel like people who just want the upsets and the chaos look over to the future rounds, and you end up getting some random matchup of, let's say, I'm trying to give a good example here. Like, I'm just going to make it up. If you want to go for, like, let's just say Arkansas and, like, UConn and some random, like, congratulations, and you get a worse quality game later on in the tournament. But I feel like people are a bit upset. But a reminder, the trade-off is the less upsets you get early in the tournament, the better off, hypothetically, the games are supposed to be as the tournament goes on. The problem you're into is that a lot of the games this past weekend were not very good, with the exception of the Houston-Purdue game. You had a bunch of blowouts. Tennessee scored 15 points and a half, which was not fun. But now you have 4 1 seeds, according to Ken Palm and all these advanced ratings, 4 of the best college basketball teams of all time. So I'm not going to complain that you have 4 elite teams left in the field for what should be 2 really good Final Four games and a good championship game over the weekend and Monday. So I understand why people are complaining. I'm sure their brackets definitely expected more upsets, and that's why they're upset too, including myself. But the point is, I do think at the end of the day, you should be getting 3 very good games for the rest of the tournament. And I guarantee you, if the games deliver over the weekend and Monday, suddenly all the complaints go quiet and everyone's happy about the outcome.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. Okay, so Florida set to play Auburn. Florida 2.5-point favorites, minus 148 on the money line. Total is sitting at 160.5. Broom got injured, seems to be fine. Any initial thoughts on the spread here in total?
Yeah, so we saw them face off one time in the regular season. Florida did beat Auburn in Auburn, so I do want to point that out. But based on current form right now, Florida's been surviving. They haven't really been thriving. They've had a couple of really close calls there. They were down to UConn a decent amount of that game. UConn was in the middle of a down year. Yes, I know it's tough to beat the two-time defending champions, but UConn was definitely underwhelming compared to expectations. Beat Maryland. Sure. Maryland didn't really have much depth, and then they ended up having a series comeback against Texas Tech, where they were down by like 10 with about 3 minutes to go or so, and they came back and hit a bunch of threes. Clayton went crazy, and they kind of just hit a bunch of shots to win the game. Yeah. Did I think Florida looked great? Not really. I thought that Florida had a couple of, I'd say, breaks along the way. Texas Tech missing some free throws down the stretch, and Florida was able to survive on great shot making. Auburn's been really good, and Auburn for most of the season was the de facto number one team in the country by far. I believe they were the number one overall seed in the tournament, even though they fell apart down the stretch. They've been very impressive, and they didn't beat Michigan State by only 6 in the last game. It was misleading. They were up by double digits with like a minute to go, and then Michigan State scored a couple shots late. Auburn, though, has been really solid, and they're definitely talented. They have depth in Florida. There's something about this team. I feel like when you're looking at them winning the conference title for the best conference, arguably of all time, you thought they'd win, I'd say, more convincingly than they have so far in the tournament. Auburn, I think there's value for the plus 125 on the money line. I see a close game here. Florida, I thought, was once again fortunate to get out of that Texas Tech game alive. And I feel like most people already thought Texas Tech was going to win the game with like 3 minutes to go before some, stuff happened at the end. I think Auburn's got value. I see basically a coin flip game between two very good teams. Auburn is very deep. They're very talented. And unless Clayton goes off for 30 again, or some other guys step up, I think Auburn has the talent to once again pull off this upset in quotes. But getting 2.5 for what I think is a solid team, arguably a top 2, top 3 team in the country, give me Auburn a plus money.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. And I feel like I don't have as strong a stance on this game other than Florida kind of seems to be like the Twitter darling now. And like watching the games, I'm not as convinced maybe as everyone else is that this team, I mean, they're just not, they're not winning in the most convincing fashion. So I think I'm with you there. As for this next game, everyone loves Duke. I went to Arizona, and in that first half, I was like, Arizona doesn't look that bad. I was like, what's happening here? And then they came out after the second half, and it was a totally different game than it was in the first half there. Duke, 5.5-point favorites. This line opened at 4.5. Duke's saying minus 250 on the money line. Total's at 136.5. I think the total is interesting, and I think an under is worth kind of a look here because you look at these two defenses, two slower paced teams. Any thoughts on any of these numbers here?
Yes, I like the under as well. I mean, you mentioned that both teams are elite defensively. Both teams, according to Ken Pom, are top 4. Houston's actually number 1 in the entire country in defensive rating. And you're looking at the pace. Both teams play very slow, especially Houston. Houston does rank 360 in tempo, and Duke does rank 269. Houston, we know, is very physical. They're very tenacious. They get after it on defense. But they are not afraid to make the game as ugly and physical as possible. And I can see this game turning into an absolute grind. We saw that in the Tennessee game. I know Tennessee didn't show up offensively for the first half, but the game was very ugly. It was played the exact pace that Houston wanted it at. And I do think that Houston will try to muck the game up. Now, Duke is also elite defensively. We saw Alabama score 15 points. They had 25 threes against BYU, and then they couldn't do anything against Duke the entire game. They only scored 65 in that game. So I do like both defenses a lot in this game. I think they are definitely the best two defenses left in the field. You look at the actual numbers. Houston's allowed less than 61 in 3 of the 4 tournament games. Duke's allowed less than 67 in 3 of the 4 tournament games. But even the games that we just saw in the Elite 8, a lot of unders. Like, wasn't even close to the actual total. You see some nerves play a factor. You have a lot of young kids out there in the biggest game of their lives. Some nerves might play a factor early on. It's in a neutral stadium in San Antonio that I'm sure they've never been to actually play. So you're looking at Houston maybe having an edge in terms of, I'd say, home court in theory because it's in Texas. But Duke does travel well, obviously. So I don't know if it's actually going to matter. But I think Duke is the best team in the country. I hope they lose because I don't like Duke, but I feel like they are my pick to win the whole thing. But I like the under. I see an ugly game that's going to be physical, coming down to the wire. I think first team to 65 wins. Like, if I told you neither team got to 70, would you be shocked? Probably not.
No, probably not. Not with these two teams. What about the first half total at 63.5? Do you think that's worth a look at the under as well?
I mean, you make the argument that just based on the neutral site and the nerves, the under's worth a look. The only problem is that Duke's actually had a couple of very high-scoring first halves, and the games have kind of died down after that. I don't mind the first half under, but I mean, that's kind of the beauty of taking the first half under, though, is that you get to avoid all the free throw shooting at the end if you see a team down and they start fouling like crazy in the last 2 minutes. I don't mind it. I think I'd rather take the first half under, but I do think that it should be a physical game. A lot of it does come down to officiating, though. If the refs let them actually play it out, this is going to be a war. If the refs start blowing every whistle, then you got a problem on your hands. But I don't mind it. I prefer the full game personally. But 63.5, I can see this game finishing somewhere in the potential 50s for a first half total.
Yeah, and I think even Houston, like, there's a couple players that probably need to stay out of foul trouble if this gets as nasty as it could get, and then that could get them into trouble as well. Before I ask you a little bit about some NBA playoff futures here, SGPN has partnered up with Edge Boost, the premier Visa debit card for bettors. An Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied. Hate that. At the sportsbook, DFS site, sweepstakes site, racetrack, or casino. Plus, you can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards for using your Edge Boost card. And you know your money is safe as the card is FDIC insured. And the best part is no credit checks, and it's completely free. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. We are brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet every sport plus props for every single game. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, easy deposit, and lightning fast payouts using crypto. The Masters start next week, and MyBookie still has a plus 1450 on Love Big, like that, quite a bit. So head over there to mybookie.ag, promo code SMALLS for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Now we are close to the NBA playoffs, where we sitting at 19 days away. Is there any futures that you're looking at right now, like even finals winners? There's still value on the board. I know OKC is a favorite at plus 150, followed by the Celtics at plus 220. Is there anything further down the board, or are those sitting about where they should be?
So for the title odds, I feel like it's a 3-horse race for me. So I decided to go elsewhere. So I found some niche, fun future props to go with. So I'm going to go with those instead. The first one, I'm going to go with the Nuggets, actually. And I'm going to go with a hot take here. I got 2 plus money plays. I'm going to go with Denver to lose in the first round at plus 150. I'm going for a hot take here. Now, Joker is probably my favorite player in the entire league. I think he's an all-time great player. However, watching Denver play, I just have not been as high on this team as other people have been. And you're looking at their number against winning teams above 500. It's not good. They're 14-18 against teams above 500. So I don't exactly trust them against good competition. You're looking at their seeding right now. They're probably going to end up with the 3, give or take. They might end up with a matchup against Golden State, maybe Minnesota, the Clippers maybe. It's not easy compared to most play-in teams you would tend to get in most years, and are potentially teams that get themselves out of the play-in as the 6th seed. And for reference, Denver's 2-2 against the Clippers. They're 0-3 against Minnesota. They lost the Timberwolves last year in the playoff series in 7. I don't really like the matchups for them, and I understand that the argument is people are going to blindly take Joker, and I get it. Jamal Murray, we know, also has been a great playoff performer in the past too. But plus 150 fading a team that has just not looked as good as advertised for the last couple of months, and a team that has a losing record against teams above 500. I understand the reputation makes them very intimidating to go against, but these matchups are not that favorable for Denver. And I think plus 150 is really not that bad, because besides Murray and besides Joker, you throw in Michael Porter Jr., can be very streaky at times, and you throw in Brown and some other role players are going to have to rely on. Do you really trust a lot of the supporting cast Denver has? Because I don't know if I actually do. Playoff Westbrook, they might not guard at the 3-point line. That's always an adventure there. I think Denver, honestly, I'm willing to sell high on. So there's a bit of a bolder take by me on that, I guess.
I think I'm with you on that. What's the other one that you were looking at?
So the other one's going to involve the circus that should be the Eastern Conference play-in. And I'm going to go with the Hawks to miss the playoffs at plus 330 for this one. So right now the Hawks are in the 7 spot. They're a half game ahead of the Magic. They have played one less game though, so we'll see what happens. So based on the Hawks probably finishing 7 or 8, they're going to have to lose 2 games in the play-in. Now, they might be the home team against Orlando. They might not be. There's 2 head-to-head games left, so we'll see. The Hawks, though, are 2-2 against the Heat and 2-2 against the Bulls. But the Hawks are a really bad defensive team. Since the All-Star break, the Hawks ranked 21st in defensive rating, and you're looking at the Bulls being great form lately, the Heat playing better basketball lately. They had lost 10 in a row, now they've won 4 in a row, so the Heat are starting to turn around a little bit. But the Hawks, once again, a really bad defensive team that might end up having a road game against Orlando, and then you have another winner-take-all game against either the Heat or the Bulls. The Bulls are playing great basketball, too. I don't trust Atlanta in basically any game because they don't guard anybody. And plus 330, I think, is a great deal. In theory, they could fall to the 9 spot. I don't think they're going to, but they could. So I think 330, once again, fading a really bad defensive team, making absolute chaos between 4 bad teams in the Eastern Conference play-in. I'll take the long shot there. Give me the Hawks plus 330 to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, I like it quite a bit. You are fantastic. I have to get you on here soon. Let people know where they can find you. You do great work over there at SGPN.
Thanks. So you can find me on Twitter at Reichel Radio. You can find me on a bunch of podcasts with SGPN. I do the NBA gambling podcast, the MLB gambling podcast, the tennis gambling podcast, and the WNBA gambling podcast.
I need to get you on for tennis. I got to get in on tennis.
I'll help. Yeah, if you want help with it, I can help you with it. I've been doing podcasts constantly. Awesome. I woke up early to watch some tennis in Romania at like 5 a.m. today. I'm committed. So once again, if you want some help in tennis, I'll hook you up.
Awesome. That's great. I'll talk to you soon, Scott.
Sounds good. Thanks.
See ya. And I know we are a little bit behind on doing golf. We're going to do so much golf next week, but I do have an underdog pick'em for you for the Valero Texas Open. Underdog pick'em, you can play any sport and win up to 100x. The entry I like this week, these are all going to be finishing positions of better than 20th. Just 2 of them. Sam Stevens, like Sam Stevens quite a bit this week. He is off a T18 finish last weekend. Quietly had a 14th and 2nd place here the last 2 years. And then Corey Connors, that'll get you at 4.4x. So sign up with Smalls, 2 L's to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SMALLS. Rhythm is your home for AI picks and props. Rhythm is already off to a great start, helping you dominate March Madness. Building your own model is easy and profitable. Plus, they have models for NBA, golf, and MLB is coming soon. And I have more golf for you because I'm making up for the fact that I am not doing golf on the show this week. Chris Goddard, top 20 plus 550. They have a 19.5% win probability on that play. Plus 550, love that. Entering this week off a top 18 at Houston. So sign up today for a 7-day free trial at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And I almost made it through all of my ads without making a mistake, but I did make a mistake there. It was very, very close. It's producer Ryan's birthday. We had some cancellations and we just thought it would be fun to just have producer Ryan on. So everyone say happy birthday in the chat to Ryan.
Thank you very much. Some of the people have already been saying hello and happy birthday. So that's been really nice. I'm having a great birthday so far. And it's just capped off by getting to be on the Stephie Smalls Show. Yeah.
Do you feel old?
I always feel old every day. So it's nothing new. We were talking before the show. You said your neck hurts.
It hurts so bad. I can't really move it right now. It's really painful.
I feel like I wake up every other day and I slept wrong. How do we get to the age where we just start sleeping wrong all the time?
I don't know, because you spend so much of your life sleeping. So why doesn't my body just sleep like it always does? Like, what do you mean my neck hurts? We've been doing this shit for fucking years.
Yeah, you would think the whole Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours to perfect something. We have way over that sleeping, and we're still bad at it.
It's so bad. We're going to talk some win totals before we yap a little bit, do some Q&A and such. So top tier teams, so they're sitting at 11.5 around there. It's Baltimore, Buffalo, KC, and Philly. Out of these 4 teams, who do you think is the most likely not to go over?
most likely not to go over.
11.5 is sharp, I feel like, on all those teams. Is the thing.
Yeah, I guess it would have to be. I feel like it has to be. If I have to pick one, it has to be the Ravens, unless we want to pick the Eagles with a Super Bowl hangover. But I feel like they're so good still, and I feel like the Ravens could falter if they have a couple of injuries. I'm not going to pick against the Chiefs. I'm not going to pick against Buffalo, who have had 11 or more, winning 11 more games in the last 5 straight seasons. And I still think Josh Allen, who just does not get hurt. He's like the LeBron of the NFL. I just jinxed him. Yeah. I don't think I have that power. You have that power to jinx. You jinxed Cooper Flagg, although he has been able to come back. And so you just jinxed him for a little bit. But I guess who would you pick? I'm curious.
I think the way I wouldn't touch any of these right now. I think what the right thing to do with these teams is to wait for them to get bet up a little bit and then to go after and under there. Like KC has gone over this 5 of the last 6 and they won 15 games last year. So I'm wondering if some public money will come in on the over, and then there's probably an opportunity with the division getting stronger there to take the under, but right now probably stay away. And then you look at the bottom tier teams: Cleveland, New York Giants, New York Jets, Tennessee. I saw Browns is already down to 4.5. The other ones are at 5.5. I think the easy answer is to say Tennessee is the team to take the over on. But like, I know I said this on the show, I think it was last Monday or Wednesday. I don't like, is Cam Ward really just going to be the reason they get over that number? Because I don't know how much I love about the rest of the team. Also, their GM gives me drunk uncle vibes and is like kind of a weirdo. I saw a video of him today on the Kay Adams show, and like something about his like demeanor is very bizarre and off-putting. So I think I'm out.
I love that you bring up drunk uncle. Are you talking about just a drunk uncle, or specifically drunk uncle from SNL? The character?
I don't know that, but I'm just thinking about any your standard drunk uncle.
Yes, drunk uncle. That's a great nail on that one. I love that. I would say, if I'm gonna, you said the over is Tennessee, but I know this is hard to say, but I kind of like the over for the Browns.
Yeah,
I feel like they're gonna draft Shedeur Sanders, and he could be the Bo Nix of this season. You know, like going to be better than everybody thinks. And with the Browns, they still have a pretty solid defense.
They do. They have a solid team in general. Like, it's not the roster is not as bad. Like, to have the lowest win total, it feels like an overreaction. I think a lot of that is just due to their quarterback situation, but that's why it's like it's sitting at 4.5. So is there value right now to take the over on that? Because when there is a change at quarterback, that probably does move.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think about the change of 3.5 to 5.5 wins for the New York Giants once you got Russell Wilson? How does he improve that team 2 wins?
I don't know. You
can't even talk about it.
Idea. I have no fucking idea. I don't think I think best case scenario, they go over this number, but I still don't feel like the ceiling here is higher, like where I can feel comfortable. Like the ceiling might be 5 games. Like, so you're right on that number. Do they win 6, 7? Like now you're starting to ask for a lot there. I mean, this defense is going to be good, whether people want to admit it or not, especially if that secondary can mesh, there's a lot to like about the defense, but you still have a lot of question marks on offense there. It's still a new quarterback coming in. This is probably going to be another one of those years where, if they lose a bunch of their games to start, you take the over them. But this would be an in season bet probably. The 3.5, I could have got there on the over.
Yeah, I could have gotten there too, but once it bumps to 5.5, I was like, there is no way. I'm staying away from that one for sure.
I cannot believe let me ask you about your team. I had no idea they won 8 games last year. Like, that's sounds so wrong. I went, because at first I wrote out, like, I was surprised to see it sitting at 8.5. At first, I was like, whoa, that's a little bit higher than I would have expected. And then I went to look back at the historical data on it, and I'm like, wait a second, they won 8 games last year? Like, where the fuck was I? I don't remember that.
Yeah, well, they jumped from winning 4 games the year before to 8 games.
And the year before that too, right? I think they won 4 2 years in a row.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I definitely like the team's performance under Jonathan Gannon and how they have made some roster enhancements through free agency, like obviously adding Josh Sweat, which could bolster their defense. And they had such a bad defense last year that anything could help as long as he stays healthy. I like that. But I think that number of 8.5 comes from the fact that the Seahawks and the 49ers are not looking great. And we have 2 wins, 2 games each against them. So I think the Rams are the favorite to win this division, but everybody else is just kind of floundering right now. So maybe
49ers were the favorite, which I did not understand. I don't know if that's flipped recently, but it was when it opened. The 49ers were the favorite, which I thought was ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. What is their win total at? I thought it was.
It's high. It's like a huge swing. It was something.
Oh, it's 10.5 wins.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be one of my best bets for an under right
I don't know if part of these numbers are also coming from, because then I went and looked at the schedule, and they do play the NFC and AFC South. But again, I think that used to look like a lot of easy wins, but I think there is teams that are in those divisions that are trending in the right direction versus just being the shitty old team that they normally are. Like the Panthers, like they're a team that are going to be tough probably next year. I'm not saying they're going to be great, but they're going to stay in games.
Yeah, I mean they played all the teams tough at the end of the season.
Yeah,
like once they started looking better, once they had a couple quarterback in and outs, they were able to figure it out towards the end of the season. They beat my Cardinals, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Was there any totals that you were looking at? I think I have 2 other ones that caught my eye, but other than that, probably just wait until.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about a couple ones that. What do you think about this Bengals at 10.5? That kind of feels like an under to me.
Yeah, how are they winning? I don't know how they're winning 11 games.
I mean, they went 9-8 last season. And I mean, I know that was their 5th straight winning season. I think it ties the franchise record. Winning their 5th straight. This would be, if they have a winning season this year, that's a franchise record, which makes sense because the Bengals don't have the best history. But yeah, I don't like that 10.5 wins at all. I'm going to hit the under on that. Yeah,
I think as it stands right now, how are they? Yeah, I just don't know how they're winning more than 10 games with that.
I mean, is it just that they're going to outscore every team? Because they haven't made their defense any better, and they don't have any money. They don't have any money to make their defense better.
It's just not sustainable. That's great and all, and if you can score all the points you want, but we saw them also get into those situations last year where then their defense couldn't finish the game. So what do you do? That's fucking awesome. You're scoring 5 touchdowns a game. Where is that getting you if your defense can't close either?
That's what I think. I think that's when they get into the latter half of the season and the games start getting cold and you have to start running, it's gonna be tough on them. So maybe they start off the season hot and you bet that, that number goes up.
They always come out slow. So I don't even know if I believe that they'll even get hot. They're such a slow start team. They're a slow burn.
They're slow team. I'm going to take the under. I'm going to go ahead and hit that. I'm taking the under on the 49ers. I'm taking the under. Those are my 2 best bets for unders. I kind of like the Lions to go over 10.5.
I saw that 10.5 there. I did see that. That was interesting to me.
15-2 last season. And I know they lost some key coordinators, but I feel like Dan Campbell I feel like other coordinators could just come in that system that Dan Campbell has created and fit in perfectly.
I feel
when
like
they have
too,
such like with Campbell setting the tone there, I feel like that's
I don't know.
I feel like they're gonna win the same.
A Lions fan would have to answer this for me, but like in my head, isn't 11 wins still a disappointing season for the Lions? Like for the expectation so I feel like that to me is like it feels like an over isn't a horrible look.
Yeah, I like the over. I like the over for them for sure. And then did you have any best over-unders?
We're running it back with this team that everyone laughed with me last year. Yes, the number is much higher, but like my stance is still the same on this team and on this coaching staff and on what they've built. I don't really give a fuck that he's not technically a rookie, but like the Vikings win total at 8.5, the over is -115. Like we think there's going to be a 5.5 game swing here because of a rookie quarterback after they made all these. Like I just don't foresee that. We've seen what they've been able to do with a guy like Dobbs and all these guys come in. Like they added Jonathan Allen, Hargrave. They're making sure he's protected. They have Will Fries. They've got Ryan Kelly, Isaiah Rodgers. They brought all these guys in. I'm a little bit worried about their backup quarterback situation, but like I think this team is good enough to make up for maybe some of the bumps in the road that they're going to see with JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, and you have to remember, everybody keeps saying, well, it's a first-year quarterback. He sat on the bench last season and watched that whole team. And so I feel like he's going to come in a little better prepared than most rookie quarterbacks. Am I right?
Yeah. And I mean, look what they did with Sam Darnold. I just like this team, this roster from top to bottom is very good. It's one of the best rosters. Like, I don't know if that's a hot take, but like after this free agency, they have one of the best rosters right now in the league. They really do.
That.
Yeah. I don't know. And then Rams 9.5, interesting too. I'm not going to touch it yet, but like they won 10 last year, retained Stafford. They've drafted very well. They have a young, like really fiery defense that I like quite a bit. They added Devontae Adams, couple other pieces. I think 9.5 is like, I'm surprised that they're not set a little bit closer to like the 10.5 mark maybe, but I don't know that I'm touching it. That was the other one that just stood out to me.
Yeah.
See, Commanders are at 10.5.
I was just going to say that. And
Whoa!
I totally get it with the year that they had last year, but I think that there's definitely going to be some regression because they played like such a tougher schedule with how they ended last year, and I just see that
we have to play the NFC North. Like we are playing hard. Like the NFC East has some shitty scheduling. Like it sucks.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I feel like the Commanders are a hit for the under. And what would it be that big of a surprise if they did have some regression? I think a lot of teams
10 wins disappointing for them because I don't think it is. Like I don't think that's a disappointing season if you're a Commanders fan and it's your second year of Jaden Daniels. Like I just don't think that's that. Like 10 wins is fine. I don't know. Yeah, that one jumped off the paper at me.
I mean, we saw regression in Houston from the first to second year, and I would definitely say the same thing for Washington. So I don't think, and I'm still waiting for that Jaden Daniels injury. You know what I mean? Like he stayed. Again, don't mean to jinx him. I love him because he played for Arizona State, and I totally understood why he left. So I don't knock him at all for going to LSU. But would it surprise anybody if he was out for a couple games? No.
Mm-mm.
I mean, he's not built like he's not built like a tank.
He doesn't have a lot of girth to him. Like he's kind
he doesn't have he doesn't have that Josh Allen girth.
No, he's not girthy. Like
it's all about the girth.
It's about the girth.
I've heard Stephie say it's all about the girth. I don't know if she was talking about football or not.
Oh, I can't see. Do we have some Q&As before we get out of here?
Yeah, we do. Okay, so you put out the word on X. You put out the word on X to send us some questions, and here I pulled a few of them, so here we go.
Okay. Oh my God.
Anand, who's been on our show, right?
We adore him. Yes, he's down at all the owners meeting stuff this week too. We have to get him back on soon.
Yeah, we'll have to definitely get him back on. He says, rank the best, worst drinks a dude can order on a first date. I feel like you got to hit this one up because I'm not going to know this from your perspective.
Okay. Feel like the worst would be like any type of like the pina coladas, daiquiris, like that realm.
Yeah. What if you go to a tiki bar though?
No.
What if a first date's at a tiki bar? You still can't order
a frozen sugary drink.
Yeah, no, that makes
and then
sense.
You're gonna be like a bloated baby the rest of the day. Like it's just not. It's just a bad call on a first date.
Yeah, when you start turning into a bloated baby, that's the worst call. Okay. What would be the best drink for them to order? Like, what's a sexy drink for a guy? Would it be like a classic one, like a Don Draper?
I don't even know what that is.
No, not a Don Draper would order, like Don Draper from Mad Men, you know, like the classic, like
I don't know.
whiskey
I feel like
over ice.
Yeah, like a whiskey neat. It doesn't feel douchey, but I guess it depends where you go. Like I think you can't go wrong with just ordering a beer. Like just be normal and just get a beer.
Yeah. But if you go to a nice bar, it's like a mixologist.
Yeah,
that would kind of be a waste if they got a beer.
Yes, it would be. I would just get some type of like something on the rocks, not like a mojito or like a glass of red wine, maybe. Like, or you can never go wrong with like ordering a bottle or something.
I feel like a glass of red wine is bad because your teeth get red.
True,
that could be distracting.
That it would be really distracting, and if your lips are dry, then like it gets all in the crevices.
Oh, the cracks. Yeah. Okay, so I stay away from red wine on a first date personally.
That's smart.
Sam asks, why are pizza rolls the GOAT snack? I disagree with this completely.
I have to be so drunk to have a pizza roll. Like, and I don't think I've had a pizza roll since I feel like that's what I would eat if I would come home drunk in high school. Like, and I don't even think we had that. I'd have to be at a friend's house. My parents wouldn't buy that.
Yeah, I feel like I've also just eaten them drunk, and you wake up the next morning and your mouth is always burned.
Because you're so drunk, and then you bite it when it's still hot, and then you screw yourself.
And they're nuclear in the middle when they're still hot.
You sear your entire tongue off eating those.
Yeah, you sear.
Oh God, no.
Sam, they are not the GOAT snack. What would be your GOAT?
Actually, that's a crazy take, kind of.
That is a crazy take, Sam. Oh, I've heard you say some crazy takes on golf.
Also, who the fuck, as an adult, is still buying pizza rolls? Sam. But Sam's such a bachelor. Like, he's in his bachelor pad and stuff. Like, I feel like that's such a boy thing to do.
Yeah. Okay.
I
think I think Sam lives with his parents. Maybe that's why he.
I don't think he does. He might. I don't know. Is that you're putting that on the grocery list? I don't know.
All right, here we go. Dominic asks, "What's your favorite?
Where's my favorite?
Where's your favorite burger from?"
I feel like no one's gonna know where I eat my burgers, but I feel like if we're talking like fast food, which I actually I've never had a McDonald's like burger ever.
Never? So you've never been to McDonald's, or what do you order something else?
I just get chicken nuggets or like not that. But Five Guys has really good burgers. They're like $700 for a burger now, but like they're very good. Five
Guys has a great burger. I like In-N-Out. Have you had In-N-Out?
Oh, Shake Shack. That's what I like.
Oh, Shake Shack is better. Yeah, actually, Shake Shack is better than In-N-Out. I will.
Yeah, honestly, there is nothing better than. Okay, actually, whenever I leave Vegas, they have a Shake Shack, and I have to get Shake Shack and get on the plane. Like, I'm disgusting. I will bring it on the plane. I don't fucking care. It's the only time it's acceptable is when I'm hungover leaving Vegas. I will be that nasty gremlin that eats a burger on the plane.
That's great. Do you have like a favorite one, like local place that you go to so that people can know in case they're ever in Michigan?
Yeah, there's a place called Long Road, and they do a $20 burger night, and it's either their classic burger or whatever their burger of the week is, and then you get a cocktail and fries with it for $20. It's like the best deal ever. The burgers are so good. Really good cocktails if you're ever in Grand Rapids.
Oh, that sounds awesome. If you're ever in Phoenix, go to Bad Jimmy's. Downtown Phoenix. Bad Jimmy's is It's so good. And they also have a bar, so you can get a drink with your burger. It's great. Okay, Kyle Jonas asks, personal best round. I have one at the top of off the top of my head. I was in high school on the high school golf team.
Yeah.
And I shot 4 over one time on my home course. That's the best I've ever shot. It's been downhill since high school for me.
I don't think I've played, like, I couldn't even tell you. I haven't like kept track. I've never had a good enough round that we would be talking about it right now. I play a lot of best ball and I play a lot of just 9 holes. My thing is, my hot take is I think golf should be 15 holes. Because I think the last 3, I'm always just like, I don't fucking want to be here anymore. I'm either like this. I think 15 would be the sweet spot.
15 is a sweet spot. I like that. So would it be like 8 holes on the front, 7 on the back?
Yeah.
Or still 9 holes?
No, actually other way around.
6.
I feel like it takes a little bit in the beginning to like get back in the groove. And then whenever you get to like, if I play 9, I'm like, crap, I wish we were playing. Oh my goodness gracious. I just smacked this all over here. But
You're
I always
falling
feel like
apart over there.
I'm falling apart. I feel like I always wish I was playing another few holes whenever I played 9.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, I'm just starting to get good again. Now we have to go.
I agree. Okay, final question.
Okay.
Dr. or Pepper?
I don't get it.
I guess that would mean, I think he's saying, he's taking the funny Dr. Pepper and mixing them up. I would never want to go to the doctor, and I like Pepper, so I go Pepper.
I like Pepper a lot.
But I picked this question because I know you're a big Dr. Pepper aficionado.
I am, and men on the internet have been like psycho. I don't know if everyone's like, if Mercury is in reverse cowgirl or like what's going on, but I have been getting some absurd trolling. Someone told me I'll have to pull it up for the next show so we can discuss. Someone said I was like absolutely disgusting because I like Dr. Pepper and all of my takes are so bad. And I was like, why do you follow me then, you fucking weirdo? And also Dr. Pepper fucking rocks. Dr.
Pepper is the best. Where do you stand on cherry Dr. Pepper?
I haven't tried it because I don't. My thing with Dr. Pepper, is it that good? Everyone keeps saying that.
It's so good, I think.
Swear.
I even like the Dr. Pepper Zero.
I just drink regular
cherry Dr. Pepper.
I'll have to try it. I have tried the strawberry. It's not like the strawberry and cream or whatever it is. It's fine. My thing is like, I just like the standard Dr. Pepper. And I feel like whenever they try to do the flavors, it doesn't work. The blackberry was pretty good, but like I tried to have a plastic bottle. I think I gave it like a 7 point something when I did my review. My thing is, if you're someone that's like, I hate people that try anything flavor and they're like, it tastes like cough medicine. Like, shut the fuck up. They literally, none of them taste like cough medicine. Like, they just straight up don't. Like, cough medicine tastes disgusting. It's not Dr. Pepper with a side of cough medicine. Like, it's just, you don't like the fake fruit, like fruit flavor.
Yeah.
So if you're one of the, it tastes like cough medicine people, you're not going to like it. Because I know what taste you're talking about. And it's not cough medicine. It's just like fake fruit.
All right. We are going to wrap this show up.
Yes.
It's my birthday and I have to get out there and go do something for it. So, Steph, take us out of here.
I will. We're almost at 2K subscribers. So please, please, please subscribe if you haven't already. Like and leave a reply. Let us know who you think is going to win the whole March Madness. Rate, review. If you are listening on Spotify, that helps us out a ton. And we will be back on Wednesday. See ya.
Bye.
Watch him make it, break it, break it, break it.